Brendan, how's the squad looking for this weekend?
Yeah, pretty much the same as last weekend in terms of availability. Austin and Tony are doing really well on the pitch now and should hopefully rejoin the group next week. Both of them were in boots, so they're out of that, and hopefully good news for them. Alistair is doing really well, not close yet to playing, but will hopefully be out on the pitch again soon, finding his strength in the gym, and but apart from that, squad is strong.
How much are you looking forward to this Premier Sports Cup quarter final on Sunday?
Yeah, very much so. I think it's a competition we've enjoyed throughout the years, and certainly my time here I've always put a real focus on that to do well in. So currently the holders of it, so we want to make sure that we can not just defend it but win it, and that's the plan.
How much does it give you for the rest of the season when you have a good run in this competition, when you go on and win this competition?
Well, I've experienced both, because obviously my first season here we didn't, and then we went on and we still ended up having a really good season. But I think it gives you that real focus and purpose at the beginning of the season, and obviously it's an opportunity to get to Hampden, and we want to get there. So, but for us, we respect Partick and Mark and his team, so we have to go there and play well to get to the semi-final.
Just going back to last weekend, Brendan, great result, but just a few minutes after full time the fans are already chanting sack the board. What's going to have to change, or what's going to have to happen for the focus of the supporters to be fully on what's going on the pitch as opposed to what's happening off it?
Well, I think the supporters are focused on what's going on the pitch. And I think just by your nature of how you say what you said, we've done really well, but... So let's forget what you said after but, and then just talk about the football. The team is in a good place domestically. The team is strong, the spirit is strong. We're working on finding rhythm. I think this time last year the team was in great rhythm. Why? Because there was lots of players that had played there before, and we were just adding the likes of Nicholas Kuhn, and then we had everything in the team: speed, dynamism. Matt Riley hadn't gone, so the team is in a great place. This year now we've made changes. Players have gone, new players are coming in, young players are making their debuts. So it takes a little bit of time for the rhythm, and rhythm breeds confidence, and that's what we're looking to find as the team, and that will come because the spirit is good, the environment is good. And we will get there. So, but in the meantime, what is important is to win. And like the games like last week, in my opinion, we deserve to win the game. We had to really go to the very end and show that mentality to win. And when we did win, we were very happy. So everything else is the sideshow for you guys. For me, the focus is the football.
Is it any worry though that if that was to happen again, it could maybe become a little bit of a distraction, not for the players, but a distraction from the good work that's actually going on?
Sorry, could what happen again?
If there was to be another fan protest?
Well, I think whatever happens on that front, we still control how we start the game, how we press the game, how we pass the ball. That's all within our control. So the supporters, I'm not going to tell the supporters how to feel, how to act. We want this club to be tight, together. And we see when the supporters did come in, they helped the team, and that's obviously what we want. But I can't tell supporters how to act. But what I can say is that we can control the start of games. We can control then what we do within the game, and that's what our focus is on.
Brendan, there was obviously the fan protest at the start of the game on Sunday. Do you feel the way that your team played showed that you're focused on the football? The performance showed that what goes on off the park will not impact on your play.
Listen, I don't want to downplay it either. I think the connection here is always the supporters and the team, and we get that real lift from our supporters, which we got. But for me, it's also making it clear to the team that we and have that clarity around it, because there's obviously controlling a lot of the noise that goes on around what was going to happen. But we can, like I said, we can control that with our confidence and with our speed and our play and our intensity. And the players started the game well.
Brendan, obviously there's the stuff off the field which we've just discussed there, but at the end of the game, Kilmarnock, the fans were chanting your name. They were applauding the fact that the players came off the pitch. So I suppose that does show that the fans, are fully behind the team.
100%. I see this noises around about Celtic in crisis and this sort of thing. It absolutely is now. The team is coming together again. Domestically, if you look how we started the season, as I said, we're not at our best. Of course, we're not, but everything that's happening now is all natural with the changes that we've had and players adapting and coming in late into our structure. But whilst that's happening, our duty and our idea is to make sure we still win games, and the players are absolutely doing that, and you see that togetherness. Of course, ultimately you want that within every sector of the club, but I think that that support, and that's what the supporters won't forget. They know that they're there to support the team and give that encouragement to the team, and I think you sense that at the end of the game.
How important, Brendan's Callum been during this kind of period? We spoke to him last week and he was very positive in speaking about he'd be speaking to the players to make sure they weren't distracted at all, Brendan, but see shown how good the captain is.
No, he's a brilliant captain, and he's been here a long time and he understands it, and he's been through a few waves of turbulence in his time here, so he understands it, that you can't get distracted, and he'll be using his experience, of course, to share that message within the dressing room.
In terms of the squad, obviously you're playing Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday. Will you freshen things up for the weekend with a view to midweek and then Hibs?
Yeah, we'll have a look. I think it was just important to have a good week's training, see where we're at. We'd obviously no midweek game, so we're not having to rest and recover anyone for that. But like I say, it's that balance between getting the rhythm in the team to making fresh changes. So that's something that we'll make clear over the coming day or so.
You mentioned Alistair's making good progress. Is he ahead of schedule where you expected him to be?
Yeah, I think he is. Again, you never know. There's always a timeline on players whenever they're injured, but of course it's then individually how they react to that. And he's been coming along really well.
Can I ask about Jemai St-Pusey since you signed him? Obviously, I think he came in the squad for the Kyrat game, but struggled to get in the squad. Is that he's going to have to be patient to get in? Yeah, I think it was a medium to longer term. We were looking at a young gentleman here. He was a player, obviously we had our centre halves in place, but he was a young player that we seen was a talent. Of course, in the Champions League games there's more space on our bench. You're not really having to put 2 and 3 centre halves on your bench, so he's a come in. The team have defended well in the main, but he's here for the 12 months at least to show what he can do, and and it's not easy. You come into a club like Celtic, you still have to earn your position in the team. You're coming into a new environment, you're moving away from his club, so it just takes time. Again, it's that adaptation. Liam Scales and Cameron Carter-Vickers have been doing really well. Dame Murray's been great over the course of pre-season, and of course we've still got Austin Trusty, who's just coming back from injury, and so the competition is there, and like I always say, for every player you have to earn your place. But I'm really pleased with his development, how he's been moving in the right direction, adapting to the intensity of how we work and how we play, and moving away from Manchester as well. So yeah, I've been pleased for him, and I'm pretty sure that over the course of the season, when that opportunity comes, he'll show that he's ready.
Having 2 right backs out isn't ideal, but great opportunity for Colby Donovan. Started on Sunday. How do you feel he did in what was a pretty difficult game? And is this maybe a gilt-edged opportunity for him to give you a selection headache?
Yeah, I think for any young player, it's always a great opportunity. I've really liked Colby from when I came in, just seeing him and seeing his development. There's absolutely no doubt he has the personality to play for Celtic, and I can see in how he trains every day.
You know, people say train how you play. I always say train how you fight. You know, when you go into the pitch, you're there to fight, and he's that player that does that. But he also has quality as well, and I think that stepping in, it wasn't an easy game. The conditions, the AstroTurf pitch. Some bits where he misplaced passes and whatever else, but he grew into the game, and then by the end, he's the one that's down the side of the pitch and making the cross. So I'm really pleased for him. There's still a long way to go for him as to be a regular player here, but he's shown potential.
Personality is a big thing at a club like Celtic, as much as technical ability or whatever. You know, having the sort of wherewithal.
Oh, I know it's everything. It's arguably the biggest trait that you need. You've seen it over here of many years at big clubs, and a club like Celtic, where really gifted players, really talented players come in, but they're unable to deal with pressure, consistency and pressure, consistency to train. You know, because some clubs you come into, and as a player you come in and you can get away with maybe 1 or 2 good games a month, and then being off it, and then maybe not being quite there in training and turning up for the games. So many players you hear, I'm not really a training player, I'm a match player. That doesn't work at the biggest clubs. That's, you know, for you to even earn the right to play with a top team and a top player, you have to be able to train with them. So that means you need to be 8, 9, 10 out of 10 every time you train. So that is a challenge for players. So in order to get over that, you need to have the personality, and you may not always have the best talent, but it can be enough if you have sufficient ability and talent, but big personality and a mental toughness, you have an opportunity.
So last week, obviously, connected an explosive kind of debut. Excuse me, what do you make of the impact made by Battlisha on the other side? He also played left in first game and right last week. How do you see his impact and where his progression is going to be going next few weeks?
Yeah, that to be fair, that's on me. The boy's a left-sided player. He's played. Bally's a really technically gifted player. He has great footballing qualities. His best side is on the left side, but he's played in other positions. He's played on the right-hand side. Previously in his career, he's played as a 10. He's played as an 8. So he's played across that front line. I wanted to see him on that right side. But there's no doubt his best position is from the left. And even if Sebastian is to play there and he sits out a game or whatever else, we still need 2 really impactful wingers that can play. You know, we thought Daizan was gone, so we needed to make sure we were covered. Obviously, we weren't able to get what we wanted on the right side. So I wanted to try him, and that's what I'm saying. We're in this process of finding out about players because they're just in the door. But there's no doubt he's much more comfortable on the left side.
Does that feel like you were still? Does that mean hold on,
One singer, one song.
So,
right, okay. Line them up.
I'm just wondering, is that being still a question mark of what you're going to do on the right hand side? Obviously, you get James there, and I think Jan can play there. But is Dyson even an option out there? But is that area still?
Again, I don't think it's his best position now. Yeah. I think left side or through the middle is his position.
Just fell a team with left wingers.
Dyson showed, you can't question his commitment with his performance on Sunday. You know, great diving header, putting himself in harm's way to score a goal for Celtic. You know, if there was any chat about his mind being elsewhere, he put that to bed.
No, I think it's been a really probably difficult period for him. He doesn't let out a lot of emotion, but I think you see in Dyson the integrity of which he brings to the team and his own game and what it brings. So it was a brilliant goal. You know, the movement, any former strikers or strikers watching that will have seen his movement. There's other areas of his game that's different to other strikers, but he scores goals, and his movement and the cross end was very, very good, and he gets his goal. So I just think that whilst he's here, he's the type of player, and especially as we move through the season, he's very honest to the game, and I think he's that type of player that it will be very hard for him not to give 100%.
Brendan, you know what the kind of scrutiny is like managing one of the Glasgow's too. Obviously Russell's going through a bit of a period just now. Is it how does someone get through something like that?
Yeah, I think it's being a manager in this modern game, and especially at the high-end clubs and the big pressure clubs, it's a big challenge because all the eyes are on you. It can be a lonely place. The voices of safety are even less. There's hardly any time to breathe. But you have to find a way. You know, I see some of the stuff from during the week when the team went on a team building exercise. Yeah, every team does that. It's obviously, and it's like anything in life, it's timing. You know, and another time, if Russell does that and they were won a few games, everyone would be saying, "What a great idea!" You know, you look as a manager for blocks of in your time where you can. So we had a team building exercise during the week with the players and the partners and wives and girlfriends, and it was really nice. Thankfully, you guys didn't get to hear about it, you know, but it happens. So, yeah, and I see the scrutiny that's on Russell, and whatever happens for him, he will be better for it. I have some issues around the moral aspect when I see people commenting on how he's doing, and not that long ago, they were stood in his shoes or sat on the bench. So I don't like that when I see a manager being pulled up on in certain parts of the game, certain tactics of the game, that not so long ago other people couldn't work that out either. So for him, everything is on him. He will be stronger for it. He's got a bit of experience behind him. At 39, I was 39 when I managed Liverpool, so I know exactly what it's like. You go into the big arenas and everything else, but this will make him stronger, and you just got to have that inherent belief in what you're doing, believe in it, and hopefully then you get the opportunity to come through that.
Brendan, do you think that's a bit unfair when guys who, as you're saying, have previously been there are commenting on what's going on?
Well, from a manager, I've over 800 games now as a manager, and so I'm always aware, and I look to see what other managers will be saying, or people who've been in that position, who should know better. And some will say, "Well, I've got to comment. I've got to." Yeah, but you've walked in the shoes. You know, there's nobody, unless you've been in the shoes of a manager or a coach, do you really, really understand what that person's going through. And if you have been in that position, then you should respect more. You know how tough it is, you know how challenging it is, you know certain things you can't change, that you can't bring out into the open. So for me, I've always found that interesting when managers that are currently in a job, they're taking a bit of stick from people that, like I say, who went that long ago in the job and found it challenging.
I know it's such an intense rivalry, but would you reach out to Russell at all to wish him all the best or give him words of encouragement?
I spoke to Russell after our game when we played at Ibrox. So and listen, he's a good guy. He's a good man. He's a really good servant for Scotland when he played. He had a fantastic career built around will and desire, and had a really good career. Stepped into management, has done well with the clubs that he's been at, and has now taken on, obviously, of course, an opportunity up here to try and transform Rangers. So give him room to breathe. Of course, there's always a demand. There will be Celtic and Rangers, of course. But it's other people out within that I struggle to see how they can say the things that they say against a young manager who is trying to bet his way in.